Hello, my name is Aaron Amick. I'm the CEO and founder of Subbrief LLC. Today we're here to talk about a topic that is shaping the future of naval warfare, unmanned surface vehicles, or USVs. Together, we'll explore the impact on naval warfare, their capabilities, and the challenges they present. What is Subbrief? Subbrief is the center for technical ship and submarine lectures ranging from the Cold War era to today's most advanced naval systems. We work with naval experts from all over the world to bring you a complete perspective of naval technology employment. Today's lecture was researched and written by a former surface warfare officer, a retired admiral, and a retired submarine sonarman. Together, we approach naval topics from the deck plate, operational, and policy perspective. To structure our discussion, here's the agenda. First, we'll define what USVs are and examine their core components. Then, we'll look at trends and predictions shaping the adoption of USVs. Next, we'll explore how they're being integrated into modern navies and their various employment options, including a focus on Kamikaze USVs. By the end, I hope to provide you with a comprehensive understanding of their transformative potential in naval warfare, with some scenarios showing employment of USVs. Unmanned surface vehicles are robotic vehicles that operate on the surface of the water without the presence of an onboard crew. They feature varied levels of autonomy with respect to sensors, which allow them to operate or carry out functions in a manner that can range from simple remote guidance to fully autonomous. A USV is much more than a simple vessel. It consists of several critical components: the platform itself, sensors, command and control systems, and propulsion mechanisms. Additionally, they may carry optional payloads such as weapons, surveillance equipment, or specialized systems depending on the mission. The integration of these components determines the effectiveness of the USV in an operation. To date, there's no clear classification of the unmanned surface vessels. The classification on this slide, they range from small vehicles under 1 ton to extra-large systems exceeding 1,000 tons. This classification reflects the diverse mission profiles from tactical coastline surveillance to strategic blue water operations. Why are decision makers gravitating towards unmanned systems like USVs? The answer lies in challenges of managing human resources. Recruiting and training personnel is costly and time-intensive. Furthermore, the loss of human lives in conflict has significant operational and political consequences. By leveraging USVs, we can minimize these risks and maintain combat effectiveness without endangering personnel. Here are some observations about human limitations, which is the main motivation for using USVs. In fact, USVs have no more capability than a manned ship. What makes them useful is the limitation of humans and the difficulty of replacing them in case of loss. In this case, USV offers significant advantages over manned platforms. Without the need of crew accommodations, they're smaller, more affordable, and faster to produce. Their reduced size also makes them harder to detect and target. These features enable USVs to operate both as standoff vehicles and as forward-deployed assets, enhancing the reach and resilience of naval forces. Unmanned surface vehicles, or USVs, are revolutionizing the human role in naval operations. USVs free operators from the taxing and risky nature of being on platforms at sea. Through advancements of artificial intelligence, they enhance decision-making by assisting operators in minimizing human error. There are 3 key stages of autonomy in USVs. The first is human in the loop, where a human actively guides decision-making. Next, we have human on the loop, where the system operates with more independence, but humans still retain oversight. Finally, there is the potential for full autonomy, though this remains a subject of significant debate in terms of operational ethics and control. For now, human involvement continues to ensure accountability and precision in critical naval operations. Unmanned surface vehicles, or USVs, are revolutionizing naval operations. Without the need for a crew, they're smaller, more affordable, and quicker to produce. Their compact size enhances stealth and creates asymmetry in counter detection systems. Human limitations no longer restrict their performance, allowing them to operate longer and more efficiently. Unlike expensive and irreplaceably manned systems, USVs are easier to deploy and scale, reducing vulnerabilities. Lastly, USVs excel at standoff platforms, keeping human operators safe while still providing critical capabilities. They're a cost-effective and a strategic game-changer in modern naval warfare. The adoption of unmanned systems like USVs is driven by several compelling factors. First, they're cost-effective and operationally flexible and can produce in short timeframes. This enables navies to deploy them at scale and respond quickly to emerging threats. Second, they accelerate decision-making processes, often leveraging artificial intelligence to reduce delays. Unmanned systems allow military forces to shape the operational and political environment without risking human lives. They're not bound by human limitations such as endurance, making them suitable for long and demanding missions. Finally, accessibility to this technology has democratized its use, meaning that even smaller nations and non-state actors can field USVs. With the familiarity gained with UAV operations, it is now inevitable that USVs will become an integral to military operations as they have reached a level of technology maturity suitable for modern warfare. Comparing manned and unmanned platforms in terms of weapon loads or capabilities is not very meaningful in naval warfare because naval warfare is not a cage fight. It is a fight of fleets, specifically technologies, training, and experience. The integration of USVs into naval forces will not replace traditional manned platforms, but rather complement them. This hybrid force structure, known as manned-unmanned teaming, or MUM-T, enables navies to leverage the strengths of both types of systems. Successful integration requires careful planning, investment in network infrastructure, and extensive testing through joint exercises. USVs can be considered in three critical areas: platforms, weapons, and assault tactics. Platforms, these form the foundation of USV capabilities, incorporating advanced design features that make them versatile and adaptable to different mission types. From small agile craft to larger multi-role systems, USV platforms are tailored to meet diverse operational needs. Weapons. USVs are now equipped with increasingly sophisticated weaponry, ranging from missile systems to electronic warfare payloads. These advancements expand their utility, allowing them to deliver precision strikes or disrupt enemy operations with minimal risk. Assault tactics. The real transformative potential of USVs lies in their ability to execute innovative assault tactics, such as swarm operations. By coordinating multiple units, USVs can overmatch enemy defenses, achieving strategic surprise, getting tactical advantage, and dominate the battle space. As we look toward the future, one question remains: what will happen to the traditional fleets? The combat power derived from a well-established navies and the diplomatic influence they represent will not be relinquished suddenly. Even in the long term, we can expect fleets of manned ships to persist. However, these fleets will evolve. They will continue to exist in the mid and long term, but with fewer personnel on board. This reduction in crew size reflects advancements in automation and the growing reliance on unmanned systems like USVs. The visual data on the slide highlights two important trends: the declining ratio of military personnel to the total workforce and the decrease in personnel numbers on board destroyer-class vessels in the U.S. Navy. These trends indicate a clear shift towards smaller, more efficient, and technologically advanced naval forces capable of integrating manned and unmanned elements effectively. The integration of unmanned systems like USVs into naval operations requires significant planning and investment in network infrastructure. As seen in this diagram, operational centers, command systems rely heavily on robust networks to communicate with and control multiple unmanned platforms simultaneously. However, this dependency on networks creates vulnerabilities. These networks will become high-value targets for adversaries aiming to disrupt operations. Ensuring the resilience and security of these systems will be just as important as developing the USVs themselves. It is vital to anticipate and counter potential cyber and electronic warfare threats to maintain operational continuity in contested environments. The integration of USVs into naval forces marks a significant step In the evolution of maritime operations, this process involves developing hybrid fleets where manned and unmanned systems operate cohesively, enhancing capabilities of both. For successful integration, navies must focus on interoperability between platforms, robust communication networks, and advanced control systems. It also requires comprehensive training programs for operators and planners to maximize operational potential of USVs while minimizing risks. The integration is not just about technology. It's also about strategy, rethinking doctrines, tactics, and logistics to fully leverage the strengths of unmanned systems in modern naval warfare. USV integration into naval operations begins with clearly defining the mission objectives. These objectives are broken into specific tasks that the USVs must perform to achieve desired operational outcomes. Once the tasks are defined, the next step is to map out the capabilities required to execute them effectively, ultimately leading to the desired end state. This process also involves a careful assessment of available capabilities compared to the required capabilities. Any gap identifies forms of capability requirements, highlighting areas for investment and development. Integration isn't just about technology change. It also requires aligning operational planning, logistics, and training to ensure USVs can seamlessly contribute to mission success. This framework ensures that USVs are fully utilized while addressing capability shortfalls strategically. Integrating USVs into fleets requires a systematic approach. This illustration is the general development and integration cycle, starting with defining requirements, where mission needs and operational goals are clearly outlined. Next is the preliminary work, which involves feasibility studies, simulations, and testing. This step sets the stage for product development, when the actual platforms and systems are engineered. Once developed, the focus shifts to integration and concepts of operation. Here, USVs are embedded into naval strategies and operational doctrines. The USV technologies and usage of the platforms in naval operations are in two separate steps in the red triangle. Finally, the cycle includes feedback, which is crucial to identifying operational challenges and areas for improvement. This iterative process ensures continuous refinement, making USVs more effective and reliable for future missions. By following this development cycle, navies can ensure smooth and effective integration of USVs into their fleet. Integration of USVs into naval forces will complement rather than replace the capabilities of manned platforms. As depicted here, the concept is to create a hybrid force structure where USVs and manned units operate cohesively. USVs can be equipped with capabilities tailored to specific needs, enabling navies to adapt to evolving threats. This concept is known as manned-unmanned teaming, or MUM-T. Allows for greater operational flexibility, extending the reach and effectiveness of naval operations while ensuring human oversight where needed. This hybrid approach emphasizes collaboration, ensuring that USVs enhance the overall capabilities of fleets without compromising the strengths of manned platforms. It represents a significant step forward in modern naval warfare. Integrating USVs into naval operations is not a theoretical concept. It is already being actively demonstrated through multi-international exercises and initiatives. On the left, we have capability demonstration events such as REPUS and IMEX, where USVs showcase their operational abilities in diverse maritime scenarios. These exercises focus on testing new technologies and identifying their practical applications in real-world conditions. On the right, the focus is on manned-unmanned teaming, or MUM-T, as seen in operations like Dynamic Messenger or IBP. These exercises emphasize the collaboration between USVs and manned platforms, ensuring that both work together seamlessly to enhance mission success. These integration efforts reflect the growing commitment among navies to adopt USVs as a core element to their force structure, enabling greater flexibility and effectiveness in maritime operations. REAPMIS is robotic experimentation and prototyping using maritime uncrewed systems, NATO's largest unmanned systems exercise, hosted by Portugal, which aims to evaluate the capabilities of new systems including UAVs, USVs, and UUVs. IMX is International Maritime Exercise, hosted by the United States Fifth Fleet in Bahrain. IMX will not solely dedicate to unmanned systems, but it includes dedicated iterations such as IMX 2022, showcasing the capabilities of unmanned systems for maritime missions. IBP is Integrated Battle Problem. The U.S. Navy's exercise tests multi-domain unmanned capabilities under the Pacific Fleet's experimentation plan. This evaluates unmanned concepts for integration into fleet operations, with some iterations involving Asian-Pacific partnerships. Dynamic Messenger, NATO's unmanned systems exercise dedicated to MUM-T, hosted by Portugal in conjunction with REAPMIS. It aims to integrate unmanned systems with manned naval units to enhance operational synergy. These integration efforts reflect the growing commitment among navies to adopt USVs as a core element in their force structure, enabling greater flexibility and effectiveness in maritime operations. Now let's examine the employment options for unmanned surface vehicles. The flexibility of USVs allows them to adapt to various mission profiles, including intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, ISR, anti-access area denial, A2AD scenarios, and direct offensive operations. These vehicles are game changers in terms of reducing human risk while enhancing mission efficiency. We'll break down these employment scenarios in detail. USVs are invaluable for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions. By filling gaps in coastal radar coverage and operating beyond line of sight of traditional systems, USVs provide real-time data to enhance situational awareness. This capability is particularly crucial for protecting manned platforms and securing critical areas. In this slide, the diagram highlights the expanded radar coverage enabled by USVs. Positioned between friendly units, their radar systems, USVs extend the operational range of ISR capabilities. By working in conjunction with other naval assets, USVs significantly enhance the surveillance network's depth and accuracy, enabling decision makers to respond more effectively to emerging threats. USVs are also invaluable in filling blind spots in coastal radar coverage and operating beyond lines of sight of traditional systems. USVs provide real-time data to enhance situational awareness. This capability is particularly crucial for protecting manned platforms and securing critical areas. This slide shows how USVs can fill the surveillance gap created by geography. The backside of the island in front of the coastal radar station on the coast cannot be covered by radar. With the USV deployed in that area, the blind spot of the coastal radar is illuminated. This complete radar coverage is provided, and the fast tech craft hiding behind the island can be observed. USVs are not only crucial for expanding radar coverage, but also for increasing the effective range of weapon systems. As shown in this slide, USVs can fill surveillance gaps left by coastal surveillance radars, providing critical targeting information to shore-based missile systems. By extending surveillance to contested or distant areas, USVs ensure that adversaries can be tracked and targeted effectively even beyond the range of stationary assets. In essence, USVs act as forward-deployed sensors, relaying real-time targeting data to missile systems and enhancing their reach. This combination allows coastal defenses to engage targets with more efficiency while minimizing the risk to manned systems. The surveillance gap noted here highlights the critical role USVs in covering blind spots, ensuring continuous maritime domain awareness and facilitating precise engagement of high-value targets. On this slide illustrates another critical employment option of USVs, providing intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities beyond line of sight. Positioned strategically, USVs extend ISR range of naval forces into contested and remote areas where traditional platforms may face limitation. By operating forward of friendly forces, USVs contribute to the protection of manned platforms. They serve as an early warning system, detecting and tracking potential threats while relaying real-time information back to decision makers. The radar coverage shown here highlights the seamless integration of USVs with coastal surveillance systems and manned platforms. This coordination ensures greater situational awareness, improves force protection, and enables precision targeting. USVs therefore serve as a vital asset in modern naval ISR operations, enhancing safety and effectiveness of maritime forces. Here we see how USVs play a critical role in anti-access area denial environments, particularly through the platforms of USVs, anti-ship missiles. USVs extend the reach of ISR and strike capabilities in contested zones. The overlapping envelopes shown here demonstrate how USVs can expand situational awareness by working in coordination with coastal surveillance radars, command and control systems, communication infrastructure terminals, and they provide targeting data for land-based missile systems and forward-deployed forces. This enhances effectiveness of A2AD strategy by filling in the gaps in surveillance and weapons coverage. The shaded USV ASM envelope illustrates how USVs contribute to force projection, ensuring that adversaries cannot easily penetrate defended areas. By combining their surveillance and strike roles, USVs serve as force multipliers, enabling navies to maintain a control of highly contested zones without directly risking manned platforms. In short, USVs are integral to modern A2AD strategies, ensuring both survivability and operational dominance in denied areas. Here we explore a particularly disruptive type of unmanned surface vehicle, the Kamikaze USV. These systems have proven their effectiveness in recent conflicts, particularly with the Russo-Ukraine war, where they were used with devastating results. Let's start with their core attributes. Rapid and affordable production. Kamikaze USVs can be mass-produced at a fraction of the cost of traditional naval platforms. Long range and high speed. These vessels can travel a significant distance quickly, closing in on their targets before defenses can respond. Small radar cross-section, RCS, and ultra-low infrared signatures. This makes them difficult to detect, track, and engage using conventional radar and thermal systems. What makes them even more effective is their operational flexibility. They can conduct solo attacks on high-value targets like warships or infrastructure, or in swarm attacks, multiple Kamikaze USVs overwhelm enemy defenses, increasing the probability of a successful strike. They are designed to counter evasive maneuvers and remain agile against defensive fire. Kamikaze USVs also operate autonomously, semi-autonomously, or remotely, depending on the mission's complexity. For deployment, they can launch from coastal areas or smaller vessels such as tugboats, ensuring accessibility even for nations with limited naval infrastructure. Now let's touch on their success in the Russo-Ukraine war. Ukrainian forces utilized Kamikaze USVs to significant effect against Russian naval assets, most notably in the Black Sea. These systems struck targets like the Crimean Bridge and Russian warships, demonstrating their capacity to bypass sophisticated defenses and deliver precision strikes. The cost-effectiveness and scalability of the Kamikaze USV allowed Ukraine forces to challenge a much larger and better equipped fleet. This conflict highlighted the transformative potential of Kamikaze USVs, not just as tools of asymmetric warfare, but as frontline assets in modern naval strategy. They represent an entirely new paradigm in sea denial and offensive naval operations, forcing traditional navies to rethink their defense and operational doctrines. The rise of Kamikaze USVs underscores their growing importance in modern warfare. They offer navies an affordable, effective, and deadly option to counter larger adversaries, providing that technology, not size, can determine success in maritime conflicts. Building on what we've learned already discussing the Kamikaze USVs, this slide highlights their operational scenarios and their unique ability to stealthily attack enemy naval units and bases. Let's break it down. First, Kamikaze USVs excel at locating and attacking hidden enemy units. With their small radar cross-section and ultra-low infrared signature, they can evade detection and close in on high-value targets. Second, these USVs can relay real-time targeting data back to command centers, improving situational awareness and enabling coordinated strikes. Most importantly, Kamikaze USVs can conduct coordinated attacks in tandem with UAVs or other available units. This synchronization enhances their lethality and enables swarm operations that overwhelm enemy defenses. On the left side, the map shows an example of this operation. Kamikaze USVs, marked K USVs, are stealthily deployed to attack a naval base deep in hostile territory. UAVs provide reconnaissance and targeting support, relaying enemy positions to the attacking USVs. This coordinated effort ensures precision targeting of critical enemy assets, such as ships and infrastructure, while maintaining minimal risk to friendly forces. Kamikaze USVs have demonstrated their effectiveness in real-world conflicts, particularly in the Russo-Ukraine war, where Ukraine forces use similar platforms to challenge Russia's naval dominance in the Black Sea. For example, these systems bypassed sophisticated defenses to strike Russian warships and infrastructure, causing significant damage at a fraction of the cost of traditional weapons. They forced adversaries to redirect resources towards countering these low-cost but highly lethal threats. To conclude, Kamikaze USVs are reshaping naval warfare. Their affordability, stealth, and ability to operate autonomously or in swarms make them a game-changing tool in both offense and operations and sea denial strategies. They highlight how even modest naval forces can effectively challenge larger, better-equipped adversaries in modern conflicts. This slide illustrates one of the most significant and evolving operations using Kamikaze USV swarm attacks. Swarm tactics involve the coordinated deployment of multiple USVs to overwhelm enemy defenses, particularly against naval units and critical infrastructure like bases. On the map, you can see an attack scenario. Multiple Kamikaze USVs labeled U1, U2, U3, and U4 are advancing towards a naval target base. These USVs are operating in synchronous manner, targeting key points in enemy's infrastructure such as docks, warehouses, naval assets. The blue lines represent their coordinated approach designed to saturate enemy defenses and minimize the chance of interception. What makes these attacks so effective? Well, one is sheer volume. The affordability of Kamikaze USVs allow dozens to be deployed simultaneously in swarm formations. This overwhelms enemy defensive systems, which may not be capable of tracking and intercepting all threats. Two is precision. Kamikaze USVs can be guided autonomously or remotely, ensuring they strike specific targets such as ships, missile batteries, or critical infrastructure. Three, stealth and agility. Their small radar cross-sections combined with their ability to operate at high speeds make them difficult to detect and intercept until it's too late. 4 is real-world effectiveness. The concept was demonstrated during the Russo-Ukraine war, where Ukraine's deployment of Kamikaze USV successfully struck naval units in the Black Sea. These operations showcase the asymmetrical advantage of USV, using low-cost platforms to damage or destroy expensive and highly advanced naval assets. For example, the Ukrainian USVs targeted high-value Russian warships, forcing them to move further offshore. This undermined Russians' ability to control coastal areas and limited their operational flexibility. In summary, Kamikaze USVs are reshaping naval warfare by combining affordability, precision, and scale. Their ability to conduct swarm attacks against naval units and infrastructure pose a significant challenge for traditional navies. This trend is forcing adversaries to rethink their defensive strategies and allocate resources towards countering these new threats. Finally, we see how Kamikaze USVs can conduct swarm attacks against naval units at sea, with the ability to coordinate with shore-based fires. Here, USVs are deployed in a multiple directional assault to overwhelm a single naval target. This tactic reduces the vessel's ability to defend itself, as it must contend with multiple threats arriving simultaneously. Coordinated attacks like this can neutralize even a well-defended ship, as defensive systems struggle to track and engage multiple fast-moving targets. The image on the right emphasizes the agility of these systems operating at high speeds and in challenging conditions. Kamikaze USVs can exploit this flexibility to attack from unexpected angles, further reducing the effectiveness of countermeasures. In the Russo-Ukraine War, such tactics have highlighted the vulnerability of traditional naval units to unmanned systems. By leveraging cost-effective USVs in coordinated swarms, smaller or technologically inferior forces can level the playing field against larger navies. This marks a significant shift in naval warfare, where asymmetric strategies are becoming increasingly effective and relevant. This concludes our USV talk. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can find me under Aaron Amick or Subbrief LLC. I look forward to seeing you there. We also have a Patreon that I will link in the description. If you want to continue to assist us in funding these talks, writing these talks, finding experts that can help us with the next lecture, please consider joining the Patreon, because that's what funds talks like this. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody.